My name is Nickel, Nickel. As a lot of you guys know, YouTube's been kind of weird lately, so if you haven't turned on notifications yet, I would appreciate it if you did. All you have to do is hit that bell, check that box, and push save. That's it. It only takes a second, but it would help out a lot. But now let's just jump straight into the video. Also, this video is obviously about Genjy, but leave a comment down below with which character you'd like to see a video for next. It can be any character you want, just let me know down below. I'll try to tally up which characters people want to see the most and go with one of those. Before we get into any specific lore, I'd like to point out that Genjy and Hanzo were originally conceived as a single cyborg ninja character, and was basically a slow-moving stealth assassin capable of one-shotting other characters if his attack didn't get interrupted. But after playtesting, the devs decided this design was unfun, and split Genjy and Hanzo into the separate characters we know today. What's interesting though, is that both characters borrowed a lot from Sombra's design at the time. Originally, Sombra was a fast-moving, double-jumping character like Genjy, who could also throw a dagger to reveal her enemy's position, which is a lot like Hanzo's sonic arrow ability. So in a sense, Sombra has actually been around for a long time, but had to be reworked after Blizzard came up with Genjy and Hanzo, which is why she was only released relatively recently. But back to Genji's story, because both characters began as a single character split in two, it makes sense that the story of Genjy can't be told without including his brother Hanzo. Both of them are direct descendants of the Shimada crime family, a clan of assassins based in Hanamura that specialize in the trade of illegal weapons and substances. Both brothers went through training to obtain their caliber of assassination skills, but where Hanzo wished to honor the father's legacy as head of the Shimada clan, Genjy wanted nothing to do with their criminal enterprise. He preferred the carefree, playboy lifestyle, and because of this, many in the clan saw Genjy as a liability. And the tension in the clan only grew when their father died an untimely death. Being the eldest, Hanzo inherited his father's position as the leader of the Shimadas. And when this happened, the clan elders pressured Hanzo to bring Genjy into the fold, so that the brothers could lead the clan together. Hanzo confronted Genjy, who once again refused to join in the clan's illegal activities. This made Hanzo fly into a rage and attack Genjy, leaving him on the brink of death. Now all of this information actually comes directly from Genjy and Hanzo's official bios on playoverwatch.com, but what's interesting to note is that Hanzo's bio describes his attack on Genjy quite differently, saying the clan elders instructed Hanzo to straighten out his wayward younger brother so that he too might help rule the Shimada Empire. When his brother refused, Hanzo was forced to kill him. The key differences being, according to Hanzo, he had no choice but to assassinate his brother, rather than just attacking him in a fit of anger. And most importantly, that he didn't almost kill Genjy, Hanzo successfully ended his brother's life. So obviously, both versions of the story can't be true. So the point to take away here is that even Blizzard's official biographies can't be viewed as the absolute truth. Every character's bio is a potentially biased version of history written from that character's own point of view. And this idea will be important later on in the video. Anyway, throughout all of this, Overwatch had an interest in taking down the Shimada clan. So when Hanzo's attack left Genjy on the verge of death, Overwatch saw an opportunity. They saved his life, specifically with the help of Dr. Angela Ziegler, who we know as Mercy in the game, and they offered to rebuild Genji's ruined body if he helped them destroy the Shimada clan. Genjy accepted the offer, and Overwatch replaced the majority of his body with mechanical parts. This enhanced Genji's speed and reflexes to superhuman levels, and with his newfound abilities, Genjy waged war on the Shimada clan. But over time, Genjy became disgusted with the machine parts inside of him and began to doubt his own humanity. So after completing his mission with Overwatch, Genjy wandered the world, hoping to find some kind of meaning for his life. He drifted around for several years until he encountered the Omnic monk, Zenyatta. Zenyatta believed that humans and Omnics alike had souls, and therefore were equal on a spiritual level. With Zenyatta's help, Genjy grew to accept what he'd become. He came to see that in spite of his mechanical body, he still had a soul. Genjy no longer viewed his cyborg enhancements as a curse, but instead a unique gift and a source of strength. His official bio ends by saying that for the first time in his life, Genjy is free, and it's kind of a mystery what path Genjy will take next. So the question is, what has Genjy been up to since that time? Well, to start, the most obvious thing is the Overwatch short Dragons. By now, most of you have probably seen the short, but if you haven't, the quick version is that Hanzo infiltrates the Shimada castle to honor his brother on the anniversary of his alleged death. Genjy enters the scene, but Hanzo mistakes him for a Shimada assassin because because Hanzo has also abandoned the Shimada clan due to the guilt he felt from killing his brother. And the Shimada clan have been sending assassins after him ever since then. So Hanzo attacks Genji, and both of them fight until Hanzo unleashes a Dragon Strike, which Genji is able to redirect back at Hanzo with his own Dragon Blade ability. Defeated, Hanzo falls to his knees and Genji dashes forward to put his Tanto at Hanzo's throat. Hanzo says, "Do it then, kill me." And Genji says, "No, I will not grant you the death you wish for. You still have a purpose in this life, brother." And Genji pulls down his mask to reveal his badly damaged face and prove that he is in fact Hanzo's brother. And after that, Genji basically disappears in a cloud of smoke, leaving behind a feather and these parting words: "I have accepted what I am, and I have forgiven you. Now you must forgive yourself. The world is changing once again, Hanzo, and it's time to pick a side." So it seems that Genji came to Hanamura not just to show his brother he's still alive, but to also help him move on from his past. Genji's final words that it's time to pick a side are interesting too, because Genji could be referring to the second Omnic crisis that's currently happening in Russia, or he could be talking about Talon's terror attacks and the reactivation of Overwatch agents. However, Genji has an in-game voice interaction with Winston, where Winston says, "Genji, this is just like old times," and Genji replies, "Our paths cross for now, as to the future we shall see." So it seems to imply that even Genji is working with Overwatch again, though it may only be temporary. A third possibility is actually another Sombra connection. In Sombra's origin story, we see her open a kind of map that shows connections between Lumerical Corporation, Overwatch, Talon, and other powerful organizations, all connected to a strange eye symbol in the center of it. And during this, Sombra talks about finding out who really runs the world, leading some to speculate that this eye represents a group behind some kind of conspiracy in the Overwatch universe. So it's possible Genji knows something about this eye figure as well, especially since Genji, Hanzo, and the Shimada clan are represented on Sombra's map as players in the conspiracy. There are actually a few other things in the short that you can draw information from. One of them is that Hanzo leaves an offering at the shrine of incense and a feather, similar to the feather Genji left behind when he disappeared. Then there's also the Overwatch skin of young Genji called Sparrow. So it's possible Sparrow was Genji's nickname growing up, with the feathers being a symbol of that. Also, during their fight, Hanzo shot several arrows at Genji, while Genji sent some throwing stars back at him. I think at this point most people realize the castle they fought in is also the final control point in the Overwatch map Hanamura. But if you look in the map, you can actually see 3 of Genji's throwing stars still stuck into the wall at the same place he threw them in the animated short. And one of Hanzo's arrows is also lodged into a small pavilion right in front of the castle. And probably the most mysterious and interesting detail in the short is the tapestry which Hanzo leaves his offering in front of. You can see there's a large gash in it, as if it was cut by a sword, and a bloodstain next to the cut. Together, these marks tell a story. It looks almost as if something was severed, like a head or an arm, because the angle of the cut shows a chopping motion, and the blood that follows the cut suggests that the blood and the cut were from the same attack. If someone was chopped in the body, the blade probably wouldn't extend past him, and at the same time cut the tapestry. So just by looking at it, it seems more likely that it was either a beheading or the severing of a limb. The tapestry with the cut and the bloodstain is also present in the Hanamura map as well. Hanzo lays his incense directly in front of the banner, and some believe this isn't by coincidence, that there was a person beheaded in front of the banner, and that person was Genji, who was beheaded by Hanzo for not joining the clan. In a Reddit thread discussing this theory called Hanzo Beheaded Genji by Alan M. Barbosa, it says, "Nobody tells what really happened with Genji to justify the fact that the majority of his body is now cybernetic. If Hanzo just pierced Genji's heart or severed some of his brother's limbs, it would be relatively easy to solve the problem because of the variety of cybernetic implants that the other characters have. I think that Hanzo used the katana that appears at the altar in the Temple of Hanamura in the Dragon Short to cut Genji's head at that same spot. It's hinted by the cut and the bloodstain in the banner behind. And at the end, when Genji dashes to Hanzo and stops with his Tanto placed horizontally at Hanzo's throat, it could have been a clear message to remind his brother of what he had done, and that Genji could have done exactly the same thing at that moment. It's an interesting theory that attempts to fill in some of the blanks. But the immediate counter-argument to this is that according to Genji's bio, Overwatch rescued him from the brink of death. But obviously, if he was beheaded, he would have died almost instantly. So which is it? That brings us back to what I mentioned at the start of the video, that the Overwatch bios are biased accounts of the character's history. After all, according to Hanzo's bio, Genji was dead. This beheading theory would explain why Hanzo was so shocked to see his brother alive, because he looked as if there was no possible way that that could be Genjy, and could also explain why Genjy felt so repulsed by his robotic body, as it involved him literally being brought back from the dead. And we also know that in-game, Mercy is capable of resurrecting dead characters. And Mercy is also who gave Genjy his cybernetic body. And if he was beheaded, he was resurrected. So I'm interested to see what you guys think about that theory and how everything might lead there, because I'm sure there's a lot of holes you guys could poke in it. But let me know down below in the comments. Do you think this theory has any merit, or do you think you have a better theory? Let me know down below. And just to end things on a lighter note, Genjy was briefly in the Overwatch comic Reflections. You see him on Christmas Eve writing something with a feather, possibly to Mercy, while his pal Zenyatta meditates in the background. And that's everything for the video. Don't forget to leave a comment down below with what character we should do next. One last thing before I go, if any of you guys want to submit stories for me to talk about in future videos, all you have to do is go to the Discord link that is in the description of this video. And once you're there, you can read how to submit news. And that's all for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And if you haven't checked out some of these other videos on the channel, you can click on them to check them out, whether you're on PC or on mobile. Either way, it still works now. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.